Welcome to the 2026 NPTE Draw Show. Let's do it again. No mistakes this time around. To remind you of the process behind me, I have these bowls with balls in them. Those represent either a group or a team name. So this bowl right here has 4 group names that you can be assigned into, the 4 same groups we used last year. These bowls have the teams that are ranked 1 through 4, 5 through 8, and so on and so forth, all the way to 20. That is an important note. This year, the NPTE does not have 24 teams attending. It has 20 teams attending. The implication of that is every single one of you teams will get at least one bye, one round off during the tournament. So hopefully that feels a little bit more humane and all of that good stuff. With that said, we're gonna go through the process. That process will be me drawing from this bowl, which contains a group, us then drawing a team name. We will then assign that team, which Christina over here will put on the board behind me, in which Kanna, who's behind the camera, will record into a spreadsheet where we're keeping record of every single team that was picked, in what order, if they had a group change, any of those issues that we had last year, hoping to avoid them. My buddy Garrett over here will eventually be the one drawing the objects once we're done with them for the group system right over here. And so with that said, we're gonna go ahead and get right into it with the first draw. So excited. First group drawn is Group A. Give that to Garrett. And the team from seeds 1 through 4. The team in Group A. DVC LP. So that is Lasada Pacheco from DVC. There you go. Thank you, Christina. We're now going to move to the next group. That is a C. That is this year's Whitman Cup champions. Congratulations. PDAB BC. That is Banerjee Carrillo from Berkeley. In Group D, the team will be PDAB PZ, which I believe is Prabune and Zhu, or Zhao. Apologies if I'm mistaken. The 3 seed. And that means this ball, if we didn't do anything wrong, says B, which it does. And the last team is Rice SS, Senator Verstanchik. So we finished this first group. Okay, so now is when we will go to the balls over there once again in order to start doing that same process once again, but we're gonna stop for just 1 second. So when you folks see this video, you're gonna have a list available to you that shows you what all of the pots were, right? So it's gonna rank the teams 1 through 4, 5 through 8, and so on and so forth. Kanna has that on the screen behind her. An important note about that is in the C pot, the third pot on there, it is 3 Rice teams in a row, and then it is William Jewell DT, last year's NPTE national champions. And so, because of that, and because we know no Rice team can be allowed to debate in the same group as another Rice team, we know that William Jewell DT must ultimately be placed into the same group as Rice SS, which is going to be Group B. And so I'm gonna go ahead and just do that right now. I'm just gonna find the object for the third group, right? It's the third pot? Cool, so I'm gonna find them real quick, and then can you find, actually we don't need to find that part, we just need to find that. So this is, did I get it first try? I did not. 1 second. There we go. Okay, cool. So this is William Jewell DT. And we're gonna go ahead, you don't need to do that for that because we already, okay, that's good. Good idea. Just proceed. So you got that, cool. And then we know they are being placed into Group B. And Christina, if you can put them at the third row, just to make sure that everything's accurate. Cannon, you can make sure that you record them being third in that group. Okay, with that said, now we are ready to go ahead and proceed to the second pot of teams. And so Garrett, if you want to spin the balls. C. Cool. Then go here, and that is from second group. And we've got PDAB-CG. So that cannot be the case because PDAB-CG is obviously in the same team as PDAB-BC, which means we will consult the rules. Can you go ahead and click the rules tab and just remind me, what does it say as far as the rules for when we draw a team that is the same as another team? Should be on the third tab on the bottom. Actually, I have it pulled up on my laptop. I don't know why I'm making you do this.
Oh.
So, just for the record, because again, we want to make sure that there are no.
Okay, I have it if you want.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
I'll read it just because I'm already here. If a drawn team is placed in a group with another team from their school, draw a new group. The previously drawn group goes back into the bowl. And so, Garrett drew this ball right here, which was Group C, correct? Mm-hmm. Okay, so this is going to go back into that bowl right there. Draw a different group first, though.
Group B.
That is a valid draw, so they will be placed into Group B. And then Garrett, I will give you this one to put back in the bowl, and I will put this one into this bowl. And then there is PDAB-CG for you. Yep. Okay, cool. Go ahead and do the next one, Garrett.
Group C.
All right, we've got Group C. And in Group C, we've got UT Tyler HS, which is Hurtado Stansberry. So they are going into Group C. Thank you.
Group D.
In Group D, it will be the University of the Pacific, AB, that is Avia Broger. And then go ahead and do the last one.
Group A.
Thank you. And that is Pacific CP. So that is Campy Paul. Pacific CP. Okay. Real quick, just want to check. Candy, did you make sure to make a note of why we changed the previous one? Cool, then we're all set. Okay, great. So, we have Group C. Which Rice team is it going to be? We have Rice JT, which I believe is Jen Tang, if I'm not mistaken. There you go. We've got Group A. And that will be Rice DW, seed number 11. And now there's 2 balls left in here, but that's because, again, one of the Rice teams has already been assigned, so we know that the last Rice team must go into the group that does not have a Rice team. So that Rice team is Rice GJ, seed 9, and they will go into D. Rice GJ. Okay, I'll just take them for one. Thank you so much. All right. Coming right along. We've got Group A. And coming out of the fourth part, we've got Whitman HK, this 14 seed. Oh, sorry, Whitman HK. Group C. Thank you. And that will be. So that says PDAB LS, just to show the camera. So this is another one of those moments where we can't put that group in there. So we'll record if they were drawn, but PDAB LS can't possibly go in there. The only pool that they are eligible for, it says, would be Group A. So let's check this real quick because there's another rule that comes up here. So it says, if a drawn team is the final team placed into a group, and that group contains another team from that school, switch the drawn team with the most recently placed team from their pot, who's in a group that does not already have a team. Now, in this instance, that rule doesn't seem to apply because it says if a drawn team is the final team placed into a group and it contains another team from their school, which in this case, it doesn't. And so I think that means we are all set here. We know that there has to be a Berkeley team that goes in here. And so I think we're all good on that. So PDAB LS will go into that. I'm gonna double check one more time, folks, because it feels fishy to me. And I just want to be 100% sure that we're not gonna have a mistake here.
Does Whitman HK need to move out of this class?
That's what I'm trying to figure out real quick. So give me 1 second. Drawn teams placed into a group with another team from their school, draw a new group, previously drawn group goes back into the bowl. So that was not the case. If a drawn team is the final team placed into a group and that group contains another team from that school, switch the drawn team with the most recently placed team from their pot who is in a group that does not already have a team from that school. The drawn team is the final team placed into a group and that group contains another team from that school. Switch the drawn team with the most recently placed team from their pot who is in a group that does not already have a team from that school. Neither of those rules, as far as I can tell, apply to this situation. So I think they do just go into this group, if I'm not mistaken. But that feels wrong to me. And so we're gonna proceed as if that is correct. And then if we have to redo it, we'll redo it. We're not gonna worry about it. But we're gonna proceed if that is correct, because there's nothing I'm seeing on the rules there. I'll call Brent Nicholson. And if I'm wrong, you'll never see this ever again. Okay? Cool. So, Christina, PLS. That makes sense to me because they have to go in one of these groups no matter what. And so it wouldn't make sense to switch one of the other Berkeley teams out. And I think they just all happen to be in the same area. Sorry for the delay, folks. Just want to make sure that we get this right for you. No, oh, sorry. Hold on. Correct. That's what it is. So Group C, we just caught it. See? That's why we waited for Christina. We drew Group C, right? Okay, we drew Group C because that was the last one that was left. They can't go into Group C because there's already a PDAB team there. So the rule says, if a drawn team that's placed in a group within a school, draw a new group, the previously drawn group goes back into the bowl. So we should do is, let's just confirm this, these two are over here. That is C, so that is the one I just gave you, so we know that we are correct on that, which means instead we have to draw a new group for them. We know the only group that they can go into is A, because there's all these other Berkeley teams in there. So that means they must go to Group A. We're right, it's Group A. Yeah, so we just double, quadruple, triple check. It's definitely Group A.
Okay.
Okay.
So Whitman HK.
What's that?
So Whitman HK is no longer.
No, I think they just go here. That's what I'm confused about, but I think we're right. Okay. And if we're wrong, we're gonna double check with Brent Nicholson. You'll never see this, so it's all good. I'm not worried about it. Okay, so proceeding from there. Group D. Hold on. You know what? I do want to pause for 1 second. let me see. If it takes a while, we're gonna pause. It's Group D, so we'll just remember that. We haven't drawn a team yet. Give me 1 second to check something with this.
PWLS replace Whitman, and then we can draw Whitman, or no?
What do you think that?
Because it's the fourth group, right?
What I'm confused about, it says, if a drawn team is placed in a group with another team from their school, draw a new group, the previously drawn group goes back into the bowl. That,
So then Whitman goes back into the bowl, right?
no, the previously drawn group goes back into the bowl. If a drawn team is the final team placed in a group, and that group contains another team from that school, that one doesn't apply either. But I know that there should be a team from each pot that goes into each group. And so it seems like you might be right that we swap Whitman HK with PDAB LS. So give me 1 second. We're gonna pause as long as we need to. What is your phone number here? Just type it in here. Type it in here.
Okay.
1 second. Go ahead, type it in. Just dox Garrett. Add him to make sure. We're gonna pause for 1 second. Okay. We're holding. So here's the confusion, folks, just to make sure we don't have the same exact repeat of what happened last year. My understanding from our process and from our rules, he's gonna call me in just 1 second because he just responded to this thing, so we'll get that in 1 second. But my understanding is that a group from each one of these bowls must end up in each one of these things. And so that logically should end up having this group not be filled already because there has to be a team from that pot that has to go in here. I'm just not sure what the process is because per the 2 rules that I have in front of me, I think it's the exact same thing that happened last year, that shouldn't be the case. And so we're gonna wait 1 second for Brent Nicholson. Maybe I'll edit this out if that's something that has to happen eventually. I assume that, yeah, sure, ain't it? Is that the number? Yeah, that's right. Hey Brent, this is Paul. Sorry, I'm recording on my phone right now, and so I couldn't call you from my phone, so I had to call one of my students' phones. So we're going through the draw, and we've hit a part where I think I'm misunderstanding the rules, so I want to make sure we're super clear on it. We're still recording, by the way, because we just have the record of everything. But basically, we have drawn, we just drew our 14th team, and it was PDAB LS. And PDAB LS was drawn with Group C. Every group already has at least 3 teams. I think this is the weirdness with like the Joule stuff, but basically PDAB LS was drawn. They can't go into Group C because PDAB BC is already there. They can't go into Group B or Group D because the other PDAB teams are there. And the only group that has an open slot is is Group A, where we had already drawn a team into Group A, which was Whitman HK. So our instinct is either PDAB LS does belong in this group because there's nowhere else they can go, or we're supposed to swap that Whitman team out and put PDAB and put them into Group C and put PDAB into Group A.
So, do you have this in the spreadsheet?
Yes, it's in the spreadsheet. Yeah, it's in the spreadsheet, and we have the record of who was drawn and when they were drawn and what group they were drawn with and all that stuff.
Cool. I'm sitting down on my computer.
No problem. I'm pretty sure.
Suggestion
Sorry, go ahead.
was to just place PDAB. Because PDAB is the first, okay, so it's group pot 4.
Yeah, so we're on pot 4. The first team drawn on a pot 4 was Whitman HK. The second team was PDAB LS, but Whitman was placed into the group that PDAB has to go into.
Yes, that's exactly right. So my suggestion was to just place PDAB and move on to the other 3.
Okay, so in this case, it seems like what we would need to do is swap that Whitman team with PDAB LS.
Whitman goes to C.
Perfect.
PDAB goes to A.
Awesome. All right, thank you so much, buddy.
Perfect.
All right, bye.
Yeah, no problem. Bye.
Cool. All right, Christina saved it. Shout out, Christina. Let's go. Woo! Okay, cool. So we will fix that real quick. So that is going to be Whitman HK moves over and PDAB LS moves up. Sorry for the delay in the video. I know this was very exciting. You're like, Paul's going to do it again. I almost did. You were right, but they still trust me. Good stuff. Okay, so the ball that we drew, as you remember, just to confirm, was D. And so the team that is going to Group D, you can do Whitman, HK, and C. The team, let's just read here. The team that is going into Group D is Mercer BM. Mercer BM, the 16 seed, Bakshi Mason. D. And of course, PDAB LS for the record was Lynn Schuster, Women HK was Hardy Kaufman. All right, so then the last one, which we know must be Group B, but we're just confirmed in case anything's gotten weird. It is indeed Group B. Garrett. Oh. If it will close. Garrett, you close that for me.
Sounds great.
Thanks. And the last ball there is Mercer KO. Mercer KO. Okay, got it. Cool. All right. So now, Garrett, go ahead and do our last pot.
Group A.
We've got UTT CS, that is Group A, that is valid. It's Carol Smith, if I'm not wrong. Thank you, Christina. Thank you.
Group B.
So we got Group B. Group B's final member will be McKendree, BC, the 18 seed. There you go. Capital K.
Group D.
Group D, we've got Pacific GG, Gusar Guzman. That is invalid. So that is invalid because Pacific already has a team there. So who was the last team we drew?
McKendree.
Can McKendree go into there and can Pacific go into here? Yes, McKendree swaps with Pacific. Pacific GG. Cool. And that means that we know the last one, but go ahead just for the sake of it.
Group C.
And the final team drawn into this year's 2026 NPTE is Mercer D and the 20 seed. Okay, cool. So we will get that all on the board. So as I mentioned earlier, obviously you have everything that's behind us. We have a spreadsheet that we are going to post. That spreadsheet is going to contain all of the groups for you folks. We'll obviously also post that to the NPTE website. But we also, as I mentioned, have a record of everything that changed. So basically there's an audit ability to this, right? So if you look through that and there's some specific issue, we can of course redraw, we can fix all of that good stuff, and we can make that happen. So this will be posted after we do the draw show, and the draw show should be live in just a few hours. So that is going to be it for us. Thank you so much to Christina, to Garrett, and to Kenna. And if you want to go ahead and kill the video, that's it for this year's draw show.